So Sharon, tell us about 1760.
Well, 1760 came about by a group of four of us. We established ourselves earlier this year in February and are based in Melbourne, and we're a denim wear company.
You said there's four of you, so who are these four members?
Yeah, so the four of us include myself, John, Linda and Ezra, and we're all from Melbourne.
Inspiration.
Inspiration came from, we recognised that there was a gap, especially in the Melbourne market, for high-end streetwear denim. We all share a passion of the Industrial Revolution, so we wanted to sort of combine that with an old style, and then we really funk it out and make it edgy and sleek and stylish.
So paying homage to the heritage.
Yeah, like throwback to the heritage, but also, in a way, also futuristic. So we really have a focus. A lot of our silhouettes come from workwear, which is where denim was from as well. And then we use a lot of things, say like eyelets, buckles, zips, which, you know, from the shine from it, make it really cool.
So tell me about your target market.
So at 1760, we're trying to target that woman. She's probably about 28 years old. She's confident, she's got class, she's sassy, she's looking to layer pieces, and really looking for those basics that she can mix and match together while she's working, say, as a freelancer or working in the creative industry.
So how are you going to go about with your first collection?
For our first collection, we're really excited. We're going to launch our autumn-winter 18. And as it's our first one, we really want to make a bold step into the Melbourne marketplace. So we wanted to combine the area of the Industrial Revolution with sleek, edgy fashion, very ahead of its time. So you'll see in our garments coming through, they're quite classic silhouettes, but with sort of more edgy cutouts, a bit of negative space, you know, alternative finishing lengths. They're very heavily embellished with a lot of eyelets and buckles and chains. So it's very exciting. So we have one of our co-founders, John, that's just about to go on a buying trip to China. I think he's going to Guan and Dian to source most of our trims. So for our first collection, as I said, we're focused on really heavily embellished. So he's going to be looking at eyelets, buckles, we've got some chains, zips, and really taking care of all of that side. And then we also have another co-founder, Ezra, that will be going to Turkey to be sourcing all of our actual denim fabric.
So now we're en route to the airport. We're going to drop off Marco to go to China and Ezra and Sharon to go to Turkey.
Yes. Yeah. So Marco, are you excited for your buying trip?
Definitely. This 13-hour flight will be amazing. It's a bit long, but it's fine. Hopefully, when I get to Shanghai, everything will be smooth sailing.
Mm-hmm. So do you go from Melbourne to Shanghai, or do you have a stopover?
No, it's direct actually, and so
okay, that's good.
It's a 3-hour difference, time zone, but we'll be good.
Oh, okay, cool. So that means that if we're liaising with suppliers there, it's only 3 hours.
Yeah,
so that's quite handy. So Marco, how do you feel about going the language barrier?
Well, most of them do speak English, but it's mostly Cantonese and Mandarin, as they do know how to speak English, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think because China's got so many, you know, it's very developed in that sense. You know,
there's a lot of business that comes in and out of that place.
Yes, we're in May at the moment, so it's not around any public holidays. Like the Chinese New Year is in February. And so typically do they work Monday to Friday?
Yeah,
and then have the weekends off?
Yeah, well, it's the same as working hours here, 9 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. What's the conversion rates looking like at the moment?
So $1 Australian is $5 Yang, Chinese Yang.
Yeah.
And I actually just looked recently, and US, because when you do business with China, you have to pay in US dollars.
Yeah.
So I just looked at it, and actually $1 is 6.03 Chinese Yang.
Okay. Have any like special cultural business?
I know they're very traditional. Very traditional. So culture and respect towards them
is
the main thing. So I have to be really respectful when doing business. So we're going on our first buying trip to China. I'm going to China.
And we're going to Turkey.
We're going to Turkey, yeah. So we're going to keep updating you with everything that's happening, but yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So, we're saying goodbye to Marco, who's going to China, and Sharon and Ezra, who are going to Turkey. See you guys.
Bye. See you soon.
Guys, I'm landing.
We just got off the plane, travelled for about 20 hours. We're pretty tired. Is there anything I should need to know about culturally, customs?
I feel like you'll like struggle much here because people are very welcoming.
Okay. Is it quite westernized?
It's quite westernized. Like I know it doesn't appear that way on media, but it's quite westernized, especially here in Istanbul. Like you'll actually really love it here.
I'm excited because in the media quite recently this Turkish has been in there quite a lot, and I think a lot of people are a little bit wary, especially it was just Anzac Day and the tourism dropped significantly because no one really wants to travel to Turkey anymore.
Yeah, that's actually been really sad because every year it gets really packed in Gallipoli during Anzac Day. But this year I don't think a lot of people wanted to go due to all the terrorism attacks that's been on the media.
I mean, I guess this is, in any country it's going to be like that, so...
Yeah, but I mean at the moment, like the economy in Turkey is pretty good. Well, even though the Turkish lira has been quite like dropping, like the Australian dollar is quite high at the moment, which I think is a really good thing for us. So we're here at our CMT factory in Istanbul called Erol Lugim. This factory has 30 years of experience and they produce 14.5 million units per year.
We chose to go with the CMT factory as they fall in line with our business values. They actually go by an ethical and environmental guideline, and they will not partner with anyone that doesn't meet this guideline. They pay the standard living wage, which is 1,400 Turkish lira, and they pay respect to nature and their environment and are environmentally conscious.
They have 2 factories in Turkey and 1 in Egypt. Their working hours are from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m, which works well with us because Turkey is 7 hours behind from Australia, and their workers are constantly being trained and educated to keep up to date, and they currently have 5,485 employees.
So how was the trip?
The trip was amazing. I actually found a lot of supplies.
Good.
So for my first trip, I went north from Hong Kong and went to Zhengzhou and supplied zips and snap buttons. From there, I went further north and got the herringbone tape, the heavy denim in both navy, indigo and black, lightweight denim, plenty wadding and eyelets. From there, I went south and got the fusing, and then went north from there to get the snap hooks. We're also going to get the chains from New South Wales just because of the weight, and also it's easier to lace it up in our warehouses.
True. Cool. So do all the supplies that you source fall in line with our business values?
Actually, all of them do cater to our needs for the values such as high quality products, sustainable practices, ethical working conditions, giving living wages for associates, and also being environmentally cautious.
Great. Okay, so for our hero piece, we require roughly 3 meters per each garment. So that means 9,600 meters for the quantity that we want to mass produce. But for our fabric suppliers, they all have a bulk minimum of 3,000, which means that we'd have to order 12,000 to meet that. So this just means that we have an extra 2,000 that we can spread amongst our collection with either the jeans or, you know, we can include it in some of the tops. And Marco, what was the bulk minimums for all the trims?
Depending on which supplier we end up going with, they have a bulk minimum of 500 to 1,000, so it can be evenly spread with our heroes and other collection as well.
Okay, cool.
For packing, the garments will be folded and shipped here. However, the blanket jacket's probably a bit too thick to fold with the rest of them. So we're thinking maybe have it hung and hung in separate boxes and shipped all together.
Alright, that's sweet. And how, because we're doing in-house pattern making, how will that work with our CMT?
Yeah. So we're sending off our electronic patterns to the CMT factory alongside with the full spec packs, and they'll be producing the first samples and sending it to us via air freight so we could see the fit. And once we say okay, they'll start mass producing the rest.
Perfect. Alright. And just, we just have to remember to find with the CMT factory, let them know that they have to want the fabric for the jacket before they cut it out.
Yes, I spoke with them and they'll be wanting the fabric per meter.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great. That's what we need. Cool.
I think with our accessibility label, I think we should do a SWOT analysis to just figure out the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities we can do, and also threats. So, shout out ideas.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the first one, because we're shipping by sea, it's sort of a strength and a threat as well, because the strength is that we're cutting a lot of costs compared to air freighting, but threat could be that it could be damaged or it might not show up on time, or, you know, there's more of a lead time in shipping.
And anything could really go wrong.
Yeah,
Once it's left to the port on its way to the
more
airport.
security having that made, you know, right here.
Definitely.
Well, the good thing is, I mean, making it offshore will give it more quality because the source of the fabric will be right there in Turkey, in China. I think that'll be good for the collection and just having everything really good.
Yeah, I feel like another weakness and maybe a possible threat is that getting it made offshore, like getting it made in Australia at the moment gives the consumers a sense of security. Because once they see that made in Australia on the tag, it's like, oh, I'm going to support this brand.
Yes.
Whereas because now it's going to be made in Turkey, I don't know how they're going to really react to that part of it.
Yeah, that's something we really should consider.
Yeah.
But then again, like, being made in Turkey, it makes it more of a high quality than being made in China.
Yeah, so that's
There's a difference between making it locally and making it a foreign country which has better technology, better equipment than local product.
Because
Yeah.
that's what they really specialise in.
Exactly.
Because that's what we chose the CMT accordingly.
Yeah.
To Turkey. Yeah.
Of course.
I think another strength that should be pointed out is that all of our QA is being maintained throughout all of the supply chain.
Oh, of course, yeah. Which is quite important. We've got to double check everything as well.
Considering that we're a very high brand,
Yeah.
we need to constantly have a QA check.
So we can make sure that our products are up to the quality we want them to
And we
be.
deliver to our consumers in the right way that we want to.
Yeah.
That just means one of us will have to be absent from the head office. So that's a weakness.
Which is a weakness at us.
In cost and
The cost of travelling.
yeah.
But then again, that's a strength again because we're going ourselves instead of.
Well, it creates more opportunities for us to, you know, meet with other people, grow, foreign.
And we're like physically inspecting
Yeah.
suppliers and factories. It's security again. It's like we're making sure that everything's done properly.
And along the way, we can document everything else through our social media accounts to make the consumers know exactly where they're getting the products from, and they actually know where we source our stuff in.
Yeah, which is a strength for us
Yeah.
because that's been helping us grow so widely.
It also expands us as a brand and also sets a foundation for other labels and also for future labels to follow to our footsteps as well.
But that being said, that might be a threat because then the other labels have access to all of our business plan and strategies and they could be sort of, that would create more competition between us and them.
Yeah.
But that's also an opportunity because then we have to set ourselves way differently to them.
I have another thread. This is like a bit off topic, but because we'll be working with exchange currency rates, like the fluctuation of the currency rates is a huge threat because the prices get locked in at the time of agreement, and it's like by the time you make the payment, if it fluctuates, then we might be
paying more.
We might be paying less, which might be
So it's
an
an
opportunity, but we might be paying more, which is a threat
Yeah.
because we losing money depending on the situation.
Yeah. And I think another strength is that we're a denim label, but we also sell like knitwear as well. And our opportunity at the moment, sort of one of our weaknesses is that we're only female, but it means that our opportunity is that we can go into men's too. Definitely. Right.
So we've just got a call from DHL that our container has been cleared and that we can go check it out. So all good, signed off the paperwork for the containers to be sent to the warehouse by trucks. Generally how our products get to Melbourne is it starts off in China. So from China, our suppliers will be sending goods to Istanbul, and that's through Shanghai docks. We have about half a container ready to go, and the goods usually get cleared once it arrives at the Istanbul border. Duty and tax in Turkey is usually about 6.2 on average. And then how we evaluate that is through the CIF method, which is cost, insurance and freight. And then once it's all good in Turkey, it's been made there, and again through DHL, they will transport that, they will export that out of Turkey and import into Australia. And then again, all goods have to be cleared at the border before we receive it. Our duty rates also vary quite often. Generally the average is 4.6. However, we have a GST rate of 10% on top. In Australia, all imported goods have to be correctly labelled because they require to be marked with the name of the country it's been produced in, as well as the true description of the product. So luckily for us, we've correctly labelled everything from the start. We have the correct packaging for everything, so we generally don't have that much trouble at the border.
Met up with our marketing team and PR group, and with our great online sales and great Instagram following and social media happening, 1760 has hit the roof, and we're planning to actually expand. So we want to welcome you to something really. It's a great surprise. You want to tell them?
This is our retail space.
Welcome to 1760.